Of course, I'm talking about the 312 people, 300 of them children, abducted from a Catholic school in Nigeria over the last day. But what's your reaction to that?
Yes, Nigeria has been experiencing a lot of violence and armed conflict coming from different groups. It's terrible to hear about um, the children who were abducted. It's the largest group that's been abducted in recent times. It even has led to Nigerian president not being able to make an appearance at Africa's first G20 summit in in Johannesburg. Um, it comes at a time where there is growing international attention on the security situation in Nigeria, especially as it relates to Christians.
Indeed, it's a very, very sad situation and a harrowing time for the parents and the families of those who have been abducted. Coming on to the geopolitics of it, Nigeria is being pressured on two fronts, the United States and China. What do you make of these two powers who are trying to get involved in Nigeria?
Yes, Nigeria has become a sort of inflection point or a point where Trump's America and China can battle to be at loggerheads, and Nigeria is at the receiving end of this. Um, After Trump's declaration of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, this has given the Trump administration a pretext to conduct any sort of military intervention or even drone strikes. And for China, they are positioning themselves as the defender of African sovereignty. Of course, we know that Trump and China have been at loggerheads in terms of the economics. There has been the death knell has been sound for U.S. unipolarity, and there's been an inauguration of multipolarity, and China is at the forefront of this, and it is taking this opportunity where Trump um, has constructed himself as the defender of Christians worldwide. It has taken this to use it to their benefit, positioning itself as the global power that will stand for non-interference and for Africa's sovereignty.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask you about, really. Do you think these concerns about religious freedom that Trump has expressed about Christians, he said he would go in all guns blazing if this continues, the treatment of Christians in Nigeria, the attacking of them, the kidnapping of them, the murder of them. Do you think this is a legitimate or even heartfelt issue for President Trump, or is he really just trying to get himself involved in West Africa?
I'll try my best not to, I guess, question too much of his personal motives and if he really feels a personal need to defend Christians worldwide. But I think if we analyze Trump's posture towards Africa in the last few months, um, particularly speaking about my own country, South Africa, um, it seems like there are dubious, the Trump administration is relying on dubious information, as we've seen with the so-called white genocide in South Africa. And he's relying on this dubious information to push an agenda that will benefit them more economically or ideologically. So I'm unsure of exactly the personal motivations behind it, but the history of the Trump's administration relation to Africa makes me suggest that they may be something more there. I think Trump maybe or the US may be uncomfortable with the eastward turn we're seeing in much of Africa.
Yes, we had that situation in the White House, didn't we, when Elon Musk seemed to have been talking in President Trump's ear about the so-called white genocide in South Africa, with using strange maps that didn't really match. And that's why supposedly he's not there at the G20 today. How is that being perceived in South Africa?
I think South Africa has been very disappointed by the lack of American participation in the G20, but it has not let that take over what this G20 summit means. The first in Africa, led by an emerging power, and to have the European states, which are natural allies to the United States, be sign and release a leader's declaration. South Africa has done well even without American participation. It has been viewed as a sort of Trump throwing a tempered tantrum, and it raises questions for what this means for the next G20, which is, of course, hosted by the United States.
Yes, do you think South Africa will go?
um, I think South Africa, with its commitment to multilateralism and its belief in strengthening multilateralism, will not shy away from attending. It's a matter of if they will receive an invitation.
Indeed. Well, coming back to Nigeria, let's turn to China. China promises non-interference, but its mining practices are accused of fueling conflict. What do you think China's game is here, if there is a game? Is China and Beijing exporting stability, or is it chaos?
For China, adopting this non-interference stance in matters in Africa, and positioning itself as the defender of African sovereignty, is what I see to be a economic interest. There is, because of the rise in multipolarity, huge geopolitical rivalry, and China has a lot invested in Nigeria, and it would not reap any benefit if it wasn't able to come to Nigeria's defense. And of course, China is Nigeria's biggest trading partner, and yes, they need to strengthen that partnership, and coming to its defense when it's being threatened with military action is a part of that. It is in China's economic interest to keep its ties in Africa cordial, and to really support African states.
Yes, rather than being some kind of proxy battle. Is there a risk that the rivalry between the United States and China might cause problems in African states, when one pulling one way and one trying to pull the other?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is why during the Cold War, a lot of African states took on a non-aligned stance, because they could recognize the turmoil that comes with being a center for a site of geopolitical rivalry. What's really important, though, is that this is an opportunity for African states to really take on a more assertive position, a more pragmatic position, strategically positioning themselves to leverage this interest from both the West and the East. to their benefit, making sure that there's investment in key areas, that there is they are building value chains that are localized and that can help the people grow. A really transformative kind of development, a transformative partnership.